Well, hello everyone.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
How's it going with you?
Okay for you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. On my spring break, so I'm
Oh, you happy?
enjoying some rest and yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I'm a teacher, so actually, I get to fall in line with those breaks and have those breaks. So yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah, and she's got a little baby in the oven.
Yeah. So got a
And
little
that's
time to
coming
prepare.
soon. Yeah, she got not too long though.
No.
What, about 7-8 weeks?
8 weeks left.
8 weeks left.
Yep.
So one day you'll hear a little.
Oh yeah.
But
little
that'll
joyful
be very
noises.
exciting. It'll be a joyful noise for sure.
Yeah.
But we've been, we're right here in the middle of, or I guess we're almost at the end of March and coming up, and Easter is coming right around the corner. And we know that that is a big time of Christian's life, is watching the, story unfold, how, this man that came from heaven had to suffer so.
Yeah.
And so we're going to start off with some little just dialogue, a little conversation.
Yeah. Before we get to Easter, which we will eventually, we're going to talk about Holy Week. And, sometimes we don't always hear about Holy Week, especially if we weren't brought up in the Christian world or anything like that. So we have literally basically the week before, starting with Palm Sunday, the triumphal entry.
I know.
And it's just that week before his death and resurrection that we get a lot of our parables from. We get a lot of. I was watching a video and this guy was like, a third of the Gospels are this week before and during Easter. And,
is that right?
Yeah. And it's crazy because we don't know a whole lot. We know about his birth. We know we're up to about, 2-3 years old with the wise men. Then we get a gap until he's 12 with the temple.
That's right, I know.
And then another gap until he's 30. Yeah, when he starts his ministry.
Yeah. So I guess we picked the most important times in his life, right?
Yes, yeah.
And they all point to him.
Yes,
all the activities that he goes and does. And I think even when we talk about his birth and the fact that, the wise men came, the shepherds came, the kings were, going crazy. Mm-hmm. And all of that kind of pointed to he was special.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it is funny to point out how with his birth, Mary rode in on a donkey with him still in her womb. And then we get 33 years later that he's riding into Jerusalem on a donkey. Yep. And kings and religious leaders are still fearful of losing their power. Just like Herod was. And
really not even just kings and etc. It was some of the own Jewish people of the Jewish faith.
Yeah.
Were afraid that he would take their power away.
Yes.
By being who he was. And so,
but we see that symbol of a donkey. It's not a war horse, a beautiful white, majestic animal, and
that comes later, right?
That comes in the second coming.
That comes in the second coming. That's right.
Yeah. So we see Jesus enter in the triumphal entry into Jerusalem, because everybody would go. And gather in and around Jerusalem for Passover.
That's right.
Which we'll touch on a little bit later, but that was a celebration they had since the time of Moses and coming out of Egypt. So he rides in. He's on a donkey, humble. Everyone praising Hosanna to him, and
with the palm fronds,
jackets, anything to lay
before him.
Yeah.
I know it's not part of, of course we're Christians, but we're in a Baptist church.
Yes.
And we never thought about, we don't always talk about Palm Sunday. I don't know why. I guess we're focused on Easter many times.
Yes.
And so it's kind of cool to talk about Palm Sunday because that's the great entrance you know, for him to walk that walk and to be prepared. But I always loved making, because I guess I had palm trees or palmetto bushes in our yard. Yeah. And I love to make the palm crosses. Yeah. And of course, they're not being blessed or anything. But I just thought it was a great reminder of the preparation for him to go into the season of what he was fixing to walk into.
Yeah, and I mean, he tells us, and we'll talk about it with the Last Supper, but, you know, there's things that we should do in remembrance of him, not necessarily being like, oh, we have to do this, otherwise it's, you know, all wish-wash, but as a remembrance, it's important to remember all of Jesus' walk.
Yeah. I don't have any palm trees this year, so I know. Darn it.
We're in Florida, right? We can find something somewhere.
We can find some here probably. I can find some. Yeah. Because I love doing that for the kids, and I just thought it was kind of cool, and you know, just a good reminder of who he is. It's just like wearing, you know, having a cross, or you know, somebody, you know, have a bookmark that's, you know, crocheted as a cross, you know.
Yes.
So anyway,
Well, okay, and then the day before, though, before he entered into Jerusalem, honestly, I didn't know this was the day before. I know, sometimes, you're like, because you read all the different Gospels, and they have similar lined up events. You have Matthew, Mark, Luke. They're the Synoptic Gospels, so they have a lot of it together. And then John has some of it there. And obviously, when you're reading the different Gospels, you're like, okay, how does it line up? And that's why I had to look it up. There was a nice website that kind of
guided you in that.
Yeah, but so the day before is actually when Mary breaks the jar and anoints him. Which makes sense, right before he's about to enter, basically very kingly, into Jerusalem. Yeah. And I never, for some reason, I always put it in, like, the Last Supper, in the Passover. Like, in my brain, I'm picturing it in that order, and I'm like, oh, no, that makes sense. Because she is anointing him for both burial, and it has the double entendre of being the kingly anointing. Yeah. So we have that day before, and we have Palm Sunday, and we also have, as he's entering
into Jerusalem.
Yeah, as he's entering into Jerusalem, it's the second time that we read of in the Bible of Jesus weeping, and he's weeping over Jerusalem, and he knows that while his body is the temple that's going to also be destroyed in a few days, there is going to be that destruction of the physical temple in Jerusalem. Right. And he is sitting there and just lamenting over Jerusalem and the pain that they're going to have to go through as a people group. And so both of those in the same day, you know, we get to see that. So.
Well, what's I don't know. I'm just kind of flipping through as you're talking. I'm looking at John.
Okay, yeah.
And I know that it doesn't have it in the same kind of context that some of the others, Matthew, Mark, Luke. But it's kind of interesting, too. This is the time, I think, that he, washes his beforehand, right? Mm-hmm. Before he goes into the triumphant entry, or is it after?
No, that's after. That's
after, because I really didn't pay attention to the order of it.
The washing of the disciples' feet.
Washing of the disciples' feet.
Yeah, that's in Passover.
That's when he goes towards, when they're up in the inner
upper room.
Yeah, the upper room.
Yeah.
So what else did you want to share about him coming in?
Well,
into town?
Going into Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, like those three, it's kind of coupled into, we get a lot of his teachings. Mm-hmm. Obviously we had a lot before, 3 years worth. But then we also, we also get a lot that he, gets into that last week of his life.
Oh yeah.
With cursing the fig tree, and Jesus is even teaching in the temple, and of course you get some pushback from the religious leaders, and he's talking about that temple destruction, like we were just saying, signs of the end of the age, the second coming, and he continues to teach in the temple, even though he's getting that pushback.
Yeah.
Where was
that? Well, one of the other thoughts was to, if we think back and we're talking about, we're talking about him coming into town. Well, we had all these prophecies in the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about that just a little bit? Just to kind of, I don't really want to do, a big conversation on it, but I saw this particular in Genesis 49:10. So all the way through the Bible, we have a finger pointing to Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the fact that we had Abraham that got the promise. Then we had Jacob. Well, who was Isaac was after Abraham, and then we had Jacob, who had 12 sons, and one of them, Judah, was going to be in the line of Jesus. And I read that, I was reading something that talked about his father when he was like, telling, you line up your sons, you're going to die,
Mm-hmm.
You line them up, and then you start saying things about each one of them. And Judah, he was going to be the one that was going to carry on that line. And one of the verses said, the scepter will not depart from Judah.
Yeah.
And I love the way it said that. I don't know. And then there's some other scripture that talks about the scepter. But that just tells me that it was almost like he's coming. He's going to be scepters are usually kingly, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Kingly.
Yeah.
But he came not as a king, but as a humble servant.
Yes, as a servant.
And we have to I think that's one of the things we have to think about. He could have kind of come as a king, completely destroyed, whatever was going on, but he didn't. He came to serve us. Yeah. And I think we find all the way throughout. And I was just looking at, I fell into Isaiah's prophecy.
Yes.
And I probably flipped the page and I won't be able to find it, but
yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it's all throughout.
All through.
And these Sanhedrin members and Pharisee members, they would have studied all of these things. Yeah. They would have known that, the Messiah wasn't going to come to conquer Rome in the physical world at this point. Yeah. This was a spiritual battle that Jesus fought. And first square away the spiritual, and then the second coming gets to deal with everything else. But and that's the biggest thing, why they really butt heads. And often Jesus is like, did you not know? As in, like, I know that you know this. Yeah. I know that you've read this.
We've talked about it. Yeah. You've heard it. They've heard the Old Testament. They heard the the first 5 books of the Bible their whole life.
Torah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
We're able to find the Isaiah.
No, I didn't go back to Isaiah. No, I started looking at something else. No, so here I am. My brain is like, kind of flowing. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting how he keeps giving them these little clues of who he is.
Yeah.
And telling them, I can only be with you for a little while. And they're like, what? You're only 33 years old?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I'll be with you for a little while. And the fact that he just, reveals so much to his disciples. Mm-hmm. On that day you will know that I am in my Father. You are in me and I am in you. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. He keeps giving them all these little clues, and they're just kind of clueless in a way, which I think that kind of represents us sometimes. Sometimes we look at something and we're clueless.
Yeah.
We don't get it. And then the next time we read it, it may be the right time for for the understanding to be revealed to us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take us into the, here's Isaiah's prophecies. It was fulfilled, and it says it in John.
Yeah.
John tells us that it was fulfilled.
Yeah.
So he has blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts so that they would not see with their eyes or understand with their hearts and turn, and I would heal them. He's just saying, I just kind of, but eventually one day, and he talks about, what it's going to be like for Jesus, with the stripes and the beams.
No bones broken.
Exactly. All of that.
Yeah.
And we can look back in Isaiah. I wasn't in Isaiah. I was actually in John. I was in John 14. I think that's where I was at. So in there somewhere. But John 12. So I don't know. There's so many things that were fulfilled, and he, even Jesus stated many times, and his, and it's been fulfilled.
Yes.
Isaiah's prophecy has been fulfilled, or
yes.
The prophecy has been fulfilled with something he said.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, and he does often quote scripture, and he even quoted scripture when it came to his temptations from the devil, and
that got him.
All that
got him out of it.
Yeah, and it's like
helped him be strong.
Yeah, and it's those things of like, this has all been said to you guys before.
Yeah,
and in his time, he does reveal that to his disciples.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was our own human pride that got in the way of the disciples. They're like, no, surely you can't.
Yeah.
Or I'll help you with this.
Yeah.
Especially Peter. Peter likes to jump in and
yeah. Sometimes I do
actions
something with
before he
you
thinks.
say something before you mean to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get a lot of that within literally those 3 days. And then we get into Passover. Wednesday night, they make sure that, okay, there's an upper room for us to have it. You do other preparations.
Yep. And
then Thursday night is the Passover, and what we call the Last Supper.
Yeah.
So, and like we were saying earlier, we have this Passover, this celebration that comes from Israel being freed out of Egypt.
Right.
We see, and I think we've talked about this before. We've done a little mini series on this, but basically, they were told to be ready. They had their sandals on their feet. They had their staffs ready to go.
That's right. This is
traveling
when
clothes.
Israel, when they were in captivity.
Yep. The end of that, and we have the plague of the angel of death, the firstborn.
10 plagues?
10 plagues.
10 plagues.
So on the 10th, we get the angel of death passing over, where we get Passover from.
Right.
And as long as you had the blood of a perfect spotless lamb on the door frame of your house, they would pass over. Yep. And so obviously we have the Jewish people, the Israelites. They all are untouched by it. But we have the weeping and gnashing of teeth in Egypt.
Yeah.
And so those that,
because it was going to kill the firstborn, and I think that, I don't know for certain. I'm trying to think if there was any particular verse that talked about, in my mind, I think there might have been some Egyptians that may have accepted the Jewish faith, and maybe they listened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think about that. But then you have the kings, the Pharaoh, his son dies because of it.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he doesn't believe that what's being said. He thinks he is all the...
he holds all the power.
He holds all the power. And his people can do the same things, some of the things that Moses did, but...
all tricks and...
that's right, with tricks.
Yeah.
But in the end, that wasn't a trick. It was real. And if you didn't believe it, you were going to lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the tricks were definitely in the Egyptians' court. They were able to... some of them they were able to the plagues
up,
they were
right?
able to make up,
to make up,
but
make it look
for
like
God,
it.
there were no tricks. He always does, but he meant business. You know,
Absolutely.
he needed his people out of there, and he showed his glory and his power in that.
That's right.
And then
he's going to show it again.
Oh yeah. He showed it subtly. Well, and maybe not so subtly. We'll get to that point, maybe, or not maybe, but we'll get to that point. I think. I guess I can skip to that, but at the crucifixion, when Jesus, you know, took his last breath, gave up his spirit, there was an earthquake. Yeah. There was eclipse.
Black. It was
dark.
It was dark.
And it was supposedly by scholars, it was like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So when it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then we have the temple curtain being torn from the bottom up.
Top to the bottom.
Top to the bottom.
Top to the bottom. Because it would be unbelievable. And what's so crazy is that was like, I mean, that was thick.
Yeah, it was a couple feet at least.
Yes, I was going to look and see what the thickness of it was, but it would be something that would be like blackout.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do curtain. Like a by hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, we see God's glory and power being shown in the Passover in Israel with Egypt. We have his glory being shown not so subtly in the earthquake and everything with Jesus giving up his life. And
so we're talking years.
Yeah.
You know,
hundreds of years.
Other, from Isaiah, who was in the Old Testament, to to looking at what the different Gospels say about what happened. So,
yeah. So, we get. But we get Thursday, Passover, the Last Supper, you know.
Yep.
Jesus gives another remembrance, like we were saying. You know, it's good to have that remembrance. But the wine that was poured out and his blood was poured out for us.
Yep.
And his body, like the bread. And his body broken, not his bones, but his body was broken for us.
And let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Because... You know, they go, oh, well, yeah, it says right here his body was broken. Yes, it was broken. It was almost like his humanness was broken because of the, you know, if you've never sinned, which of course none of us have ever been in that place, only one perfect, but all of a sudden he had to feel that.
Yeah.
Poured on him.
Yeah.
And he did ask if that cup could fall from him before it all kind of started. That was another event.
Yep.
You know, the Garden of Gethsemane.
Yep.
And so he knew what it was going to take, but he also knew that's what it was going to take. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
He knew what it was going to be like, and then he also knew that, but he had to take it because there was no other way.
Yep, because he loved his creation
so
right.
Much. He loved his creation. That's right.
And that's all of us.
That's right. That's right.
But so he was broken. He was, you know, we get through Thursday night into early Friday morning, you know, wee hours of the morning where he's going through the trials and back and forth between the Jewish leaders and the Roman leaders and, oh my goodness, so many different things. And we get his broken body as they whip him, scourge him deeply,
terribly beat him.
Yeah.
But I wonder, this is what I was just kind of thinking. I just came across the verse having to do with just the people and some betrayal and some which hurt the worst.
Oh. The betrayals or the
fact that, you know, Judas betrayed him, the fact that you know, Peter denied him, you know, and so and also really the Jewish people turned their back on him, you know, at that time.
Yeah,
the Israelites turned their back on him.
Going from Palm Sunday, praising him, welcoming him in as a king, and then now yelling, "Crucify him!" And all right,
from
I'm about
Hosanna to crucify him. I know.
Yeah.
There was a lot, I think, and he had so much in John that was between his crucifixion, in which he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
All along, he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And this was the time that it was going to happen. And then also, talking about, what he foresaw in the future for the disciples, for the people that he was dying for, which was everyone.
Yes.
And would they turn, in which we know that some of that happened. Some turned to him because of his, I would say, what they saw he went through.
Oh, yeah.
And his willingness to go through it.
Yeah.
We have to be thankful for that.
Oh, yeah, we do. And I think with what you were saying with, what hurt more was that betrayal. And, I think that's definitely what hurts God the most. Yeah. Is that when we turn our hearts away from him. But, Jesus did suffer and die to give us that, to be able to save us from that separation.
Yeah, from God. Yeah. That's right. I don't know, I'm looking in John, and I'm in kind of like chapter 13, and I start flipping pages, and I see the titles, and I've read I've read through John before and studied John before, and it's just kind of cool how you see all the do I want to say the contrast between what's going on and what's happening, and the way his disciples respond and the way Jesus responds. And when we say we need an example, he is the example, I think, for us to follow.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and Paul says, it's God, it's Jesus that I'm imitating,
Yes.
If you're going to imitate me, you imitate me as I imitate Christ. Don't imitate my humanness.
Yeah. Because, Yeah, that is that's our striving, is to be more like Jesus, and that's why we call that sanctification, right?
Yep. Yeah. And that's what we have that saying of you may be the only Bible or Jesus that somebody sees.
Yeah.
So make sure you're representing him well.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, we're always going through that process of sanctification. I know. We start with salvation, we have sanctification, and we are justified by Jesus' blood and righteousness to have that restoration of relationship with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's all we got for Holy Week, and you had a pretty cool acrostic.
I don't know if it's pretty cool or not, but I always try to think, and you have to think about it. The word is Easter, and Easter, and if we think about what happened in the Old Testament to prepare us for the New Testament and what Jesus did, and of course God is Elohim.
Yes.
And of course we know they're all three in one. But there's a lot of that is in Genesis, when he created everything, when he created the world, when he created us, when he created the animals and the rest. And then it goes on for him to being such a the true God. He was my sister said this morning, we were talking about it, the creative God, because he just created, he was the God, Yeah. And so Elohim, and it's Heem is how you pronounce it, Elohim. And he allowed salvation. Think about that one. Because salvation is through Jesus Christ, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he allowed salvation, the eternal redemption. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe because eternal is forever, right? Yeah. And if we are having an eternal redemption, means we have been redeemed by salvation, who is Jesus, right? Maybe that's kind of confusing. I don't know.
No. It also goes back to the Old Testament versus the New Testament. We have the Old Testament being, those laws and those sacrifices that the Jewish people had to do.
Because they were trying to be perfect.
Yes.
And they couldn't, so they had to sacrifice.
No. So, and even in that, there wasn't any perfection that was reached. Yeah. But, Jesus came to fulfill all of that.
That's right.
Not abolish, but to fulfill.
Yeah.
There was no sacrifice needed, but we still have those laws. And we've talked about that before. They fit into
and they're etched on our heart.
Yes, all those 10 commandments. If you love God first, and if you love others as well before yourself or as yourself, you're going to follow those 10 commandments. Yeah. Thankfully, we don't have to do the sacrifices anymore, but because that's what Jesus did and what he fulfilled.
He did it once and for all all of us. So, one of the points I made, and I'm gonna stop at this point, but I used the word Elohim allowed salvation, and Elohim allowed is past tense. Okay, right? English teacher.
Yes.
But it's present day until eternity. So he allowed it because that was his plan.
Yep.
But it's still available.
Yes.
Today.
Yep.
And gives us an eternal life.
And the eternal redemption, like you were saying, it's Jesus died once for all.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
We don't have to worry about any other kinds of redemptions. No other way. There's nothing else that we can do.
Yeah.
It's all through him and choosing to follow him and live our lives for him.
Yeah. So, get ready for Easter. I don't know if you wear an Easter bonnet or you go buy a new dress, or if you get new shoes, or maybe you just wear something that's in the closet and makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And celebrate.
Hey, maybe some sunrise services, you wear your pajamas, you're comfortable. God cares about you showing up.
That's right. That early in the morning, he cares about you showing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because really, it's kind of cool. I think this is the thing about, and this is going to come out before Easter, right? Just before Easter.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the other two
will
be after.
Yeah.
And Jen's going to share with you what that'll be. But what's really cool about what we've done in the last few years is, and like yesterday, the day before we've shared, we have, we have a little Easter hunt for the kids, which is kind of fun. We try to use a way to share with them about what all that means.
Yes.
Or what it can represent.
Yeah.
And then, our guys did the Last Supper. They recreated it, and they did a really good job last year for their first year. And so we're going to be doing that on what's that date?
April 4th.
April 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll be at 3 o'clock, and then the doors open at 3:30.
Yep.
And then we're going to go inside and all with your families. This is a good family day.
Yeah.
We'll have a few games at the beginning that'll kind of just occupy the children.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go into the sanctuary and inside the church. And then we're going to listen to the men do their reenactment.
Yeah.
And then we come out, and then the kids get to go Easter egg hunting.
Yeah.
So we have a little fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to have fun together as a family.
That's right. We have to laugh and have fun together because life can be so hard sometimes.
Yep.
And this is a free event. Nothing like frilly or anything, but we'd love for you to come out. And like I said, we start at 3 with games and stuff like that. And then we'll go into the sanctuary and yeah.
And then the next day, morning of Easter,
That's where I wanted to get to. Go ahead. You finish that up. I knew I was going somewhere, but I got sidetracked.
Yes, thinking about all the Easter fun and their amazing reenactments.
Yeah.
But so the next day we have our sunrise service, and
I think that's at 7. Isn't it?
Sure. It was debated right before we were trying to figure it out. Yeah. We had to,
You had all the predictions on when sunrise, right, would be.
Yeah, really. But so we get to enjoy it out by the lake. And we sing some songs, hear a message, and
we have breakfast.
We do feed you, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Plenty to go around. And then
Sunday school,
and then we have our Easter Sunday service.
Yep.
Where we get to, worship God some more through song, through being together, through learning more about what the day is about, really.
Yep.
And then you guys get to go home and
as a
enjoy
family
your
and
day.
chill. That's right. So, and Pastor Zeb always brings a good message. Is Pastor Jordan, is he going to be doing the morning message?
He's going to be doing the sunrise. Yeah, that seems to be their tag team.
They've got that down now.
Jordan's got the sunrise, and Zeb's got the it's not quite afternoon yet, but noontime, I guess.
Noontime. It'll be about 11. Yeah. That's when we start, 11. Church at 11. Sunday school at 9:30.
Yep.
Sunrise, I think, is around 7.
Yeah.
Bring your own chair. Bring your own chair.
Yes.
And we'll look out upon the lake and
might have a surprise cameo from some of the birds.
Oh,
the little sandhill cranes.
We did last year.
Yeah, last year, yeah.
We did.
But yeah, so join us with that. And
yeah, this is what I was going to say. It's really cool to take this weekend or the coming weekend for Easter. And just tie our whole weekend into Jesus.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's all I had to say.
Yeah. But yeah, next time we'll be touching more on Easter itself, and even talking about the women of Easter and their important roles in all of that.
Yeah. And of course, one is Mary, his mother.
Yes.
And the other is the women at the tomb, right?
At the tomb, yeah. So including Mary Magdalene. We don't know all the other ones that were involved, but assuming Mary, Martha from Lazarus's, family, and
there's a lot we'll share.
Yeah,
we'll share.
Super excited about that.
All right.
So we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you later.
Bye.